So let's talk about different brands of fusible. There's a lot of different ones on the market. Some of the most common ones, Heat-n-Bond is one that you can find in a lot of fabric stores or art craft stores. There's Heat-n-Bond Lite, and then there's the Ultra Hold. This is the Ultra Hold. The Lite is nice. I used to use that before I found my favorite one I'll be talking about here. But it's nice because it's lightweight. It's easy to work with. It feels pretty soft and flexible. It feels pretty good. You can sew through it with a needle and it won't gum up your needle. That's the Light Heat-n-Bond. It won't gum up your needle. And it stays on there pretty good. If it's a wall hanging, it'll stay on fairly good. So I used to use that before I found my favorite brand. And it held up pretty well, but I made my samples out of it, and I've been hauling my samples to when I go speak at guilds and when I vend at shows, and they've been handled a lot. And a few of the pieces, I didn't sew around all the pieces. I just did an all over quilting pattern. And a few of the pieces on the corners are starting to peel up a little bit. So if I was going to wash it, that'd be a problem because they're not sewed down. So Heat-n-Bond Lite is nice because, like I say, it's easy to work with, it's lightweight, but it's not permanent in the wash. You can't wash it. If you had a project you did want to wash, you could use the Ultra Hold. That's going to hold really well, but it is going to feel pretty stiff, and you cannot sew through it because it will gum up your needle. So this is good for projects that are, well, like the project we're going to make today. If you're going to make, the butterfly bag here with Heat-n-Bond, the Ultra Hold would be really nice because it doesn't matter if it wouldn't be too stiff because the pieces are pretty thin, and you wouldn't need to sew it down. Another product that's a popular one is Steam-A-Seam 2. So Steam-A-Seam 2 is like a new and improved Steam-A-Seam. This product is similar, except that it's got two pieces of paper on it. So it has paper on the front and the back, and then the glue is in the middle. And this is, again, very lightweight. This works really well if you're going to be doing a lot of layering or like collage, where you have a lot of little pieces, because once you peel off one of these papers, it's tacky. So when you lay that piece down on your background fabric, it sticks. And it's not permanent, it's removable. So you can stick it and then peel it off and stick it and peel it off. And you keep doing that until you iron it. But it's tacky, so it'll stick. So it's really nice if you're doing a collage quilt and you don't want the pieces to move. That'll be really handy. The downside I found is with two pieces of paper, when I laid it out, it doesn't lay perfectly flat. It's kind of a little bit bubbly. So when I was doing my tracing, it kind of bothered me a little bit when I was tracing because the paper was kind of moving because it just doesn't lay quite flat. You can see it's kind of bubbly there a little bit. So for me, it wasn't my favorite. And for doing my quilts, you wouldn't want to use this product because when you're laying out your whole project, you're going to end up tweaking and moving and sliding the pieces. And with the product I like, you can kind of slide it and move it after you lay it on your background before you iron it. You can move the pieces around very easily. And then once you have it how you like it, then you're going to iron it down. If you use a product like this, you can't slide the pieces. You have to peel up one piece at a time and then restick it, and peel up another one and restick it. And I guess that would drive me crazy. If I was doing a big project, I had a lot of pieces, I want to move over just a little bit, it would be a lot of work. So my preference for my quilts is to not use the Steam-A-Seam, not having that tackiness on there. But I know for some projects it works great. So getting to my personal favorite, it's called Hotfix Adhesive. The good thing about it, it is flexible. It won't gum up the needle. It is permanent, even in the wash. So that's what makes it unique. Once you iron this down, you don't have to sew around the pieces, and you can throw it in the wash. I made up a sample and I threw it in the washer and the dryer, and it came out great. They do recommend a low heat dryer. When you iron it down, iron it really well, and it's on there. So you can sew around it if you want. It won't come up your needle, but you don't have to. And the downside though is it's not like in craft stores. You can find online. I do sell it now in my shop, patternsontheprairie.com. I carry both the 4-yard roll and 10-yard roll of it. Oh, and you can run this through the printer. So once you iron it onto your fabric, if your printer can handle cardstock paper and it's inkjet, not laser. If it's a laser printer, it will ruin your printer. So inkjet printer, you can run it through your printer and not have to do the tracing in your pattern sheets. But anyway, I love it because it is, like I say, lightweight, flexible. You can sew through it and you don't have to worry about it gumming up your needle. And in the wash, it's permanently washed. They also have, I don't carry it on my website, but they have one called Featherweight that you can get from Hotfix. I think it's hotfix.com. It's a featherweight where if you are doing a lot of layering, it has a little bit less glue, so it doesn't get quite as stiff. And they just came out with a new product. Again, I don't carry it, but for those of you that are interested, it's a brand new one called Hotfix Adhesive Plus. They sent me a sample to try out, and it works just like the Steam-A-Seam, where it's tacky. And I did try it out. It works really well. It's very tacky. Actually, this one is the plus. And the only downside I could see is when I was peeling off the paper, normally it's very easy to slide. I use a pin, and I'll show you that later, but I use a pin to score the paper and then slide the pin under and peel it off. When you use this plus, it's a little bit harder to get the pin under there. It kind of wants to stick in that glue. But then once you peel off the back, you can stick it on your fabric and it's on there. And then if you want to get it off, it's repositionable. You can peel it off, stick it back on again, and it's on there. So it's a really great product if you're doing collage quilting and doing a lot of layering and you have a lot of little pieces that you don't want to move once you stick them down and you have them in just the right place. This plus would be a good product.